by rigorous of my prayer. Text number 41. Marganti Yate Mukha Padma Nidai Marganti Yate Mukha Padma Nidai Marganti Yate Mukha Padma Nidai
Chanda
Searching after. Mukha Padma. Lotus-like face. Needed. For those who are taking shelter. Of such a lotus flower. Chandraha. Vedic hymns. Suparnai. By the wings. Vishayaha. The sages. Vivikte. In clear mind. Yasya. Whose. Adana Shakta. That which offers freedom from all reactions to sin. Sare. Rivers. Varayaha. In the best. Padam. In every step. Tirtha Padaha. One whose lotus feet are as good as a place of pilgrimage. Prapanna. Taking shelter. Translation and Bhatto by Divine Graces. Sridhar Swami Prabhupada. The lotus feet of the Lord are by themselves the shelter of all blessed pilgrimage. The great clear-minded sages, carried by the wings of the Vedas, always search after the nest of your lotus-like face. Some of them surrender to the lotus feet every step by taking shelter of the best of rivers, the Ganges, which can deliver one from all sinful reactions. The lotus feet of the Lord are by themselves the shelter of all places of pilgrimage. The great clear-minded sages, carried by the wings of the Vedas, always search after the nest of your lotus-like face. Some of them surrender to your lotus feet at every step by taking shelter of the best of rivers, the Ganges, which can deliver one from all sinful reactions. The Paramahamsas are compared to royal swans who make their nest on the petals of the lotus flower. The Lord's transcendental bodily parts are always compared to the lotus flower because in the material world, the lotus flower is the last word in beauty. The most beautiful thing in the world is the Vedas or Bhagavad Gita because their knowledge is imparted by the personality of God himself. The Paramahamsa makes his nest in the lotus-like face of the Lord and always seeks shelter at his lotus feet, which are reached by the wings of Vedic wisdom. Since the Lord is the original source of all emanations, intelligent persons enlightened by Vedic knowledge seek the shelter of the Lord, just as birds who leave the nest again search out the nest to take complete rest. All Vedic knowledge is meant for understanding the Supreme Lord as stated by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita 18.15. Vedashya sarvai ahameva vedyaha. Intelligent persons who are like swans take shelter of the Lord by all means and do not hover on the mental plane but ruthlessly speculating on different philosophies. The Lord is so kind that He has spread the river Ganges throughout the universe, so that by taking bath in that holy river, everyone can get released from the reactions of sins which occur at every step. There are many rivers in the world that are able to evoke one's sense of God consciousness, simply by one's being in them. And the river Ganges is the chief amongst them. In India, there are 5 sacred rivers. How many? 5 sacred rivers. But the Ganges is the most sacred. The river Ganges and Bhagavad Gita are chief sources of transcendental happiness for mankind. The river Ganges and Bhagavad Gita are chief sources of transcendental happiness for mankind. And intelligent persons can take shelter of them to go back home, back to God. Even Sripad Shankaracharya recommends that a little knowledge in Bhagavad Gita and the drinking of a little quantity of Ganges water can save one from the punishment of Yamaraj. Thus ends the Bhagavad Gita. Om Jnana-Timirandasya Jnana-Nishadakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Putane Nirvishesha Punyavani Pajate Vishwarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gauravantarita Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. These are prayers offered by the demigods to Lord Vishnu. This is happening at the beginning of creation. The demigods are empowered personalities, and due to their empowerment, they have knowledge of the Supreme God. But in the course of doing their duties in the material world, there is a possibility they will forget the Lord, especially when they come in contact with the material modes and become influenced by the material modes to enjoy material being. Whenever somebody tries to enjoy materially, immediately there is forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord. Even for the deities. In the Bhagavatam we can see there are instances where Indra is forgetful of the Supreme Lord. But Indra is a devotee. He is a faithful devotee. Sura, Deva, Daiva. But still, because of the influence of the gunas, the tendency to enjoy materially makes such a person who comes under the influence of gunas and tries to enjoy, makes him forget Krishna. And forgetfulness of Krishna means Maya. But the Devatas are always reminded about Krishna whenever, due to their forgetfulness of Krishna, they experience some material difficulty or some problem or some danger. so made. Padam padam yat padam. Every step has danger. This danger is not exactly danger, but it is just a reminder that our existence is actually dependent on the mercy of the Supreme Lord. We don't have independent existence. We cannot be happy independently. We cannot be safe and secure independently. This is the reminder, this danger at every step, the reminder of this essential fact of our existence. So the Devatas, because they are engaged as servants of Vishnu in carrying out the administration of this material world. So they are aware of the greatness of Vishnu, the unique position of Vishnu. Otherwise, how they can offer prayers? All the prayers offered by the Devatas in the Bhagavad, you can see perfect understanding. Very clear understanding. So knowledge is there. But that knowledge, in order to apply that, one has to actually be situated in devotional service. So knowledge alone is not enough. Knowledge applied in devotional service. Only then we can be secure, safe. Safe means not being influenced by the material force. So here, in this prayer, the demigods are praying, the lotus feet of the Lord are by themselves the shelter of all places of pilgrimage. Tirtha Padaha. The Lord is called Tirtha Padaha. Means his lotus feet are as good as the place of pilgrimage. Why? Because one goes to a place of pilgrimage to purify oneself. But how would the place of pilgrimage get that power to purify a person's into reality? It is primarily because of this river Ganga. The river Ganga is flowing all over the universe. But before the river Ganga enters the universe, that river water is washing the lotus feet of Vishnu. And it carries the dust of the lotus feet of Vishnu. And that is how Ganga Jal has got the power to purify anybody who comes in contact with it. And it is described here, this is the Lord's mercy. He has made this arrangement. He performed the pastime when he incarnated as Vaman. He extended his foot to cover the space above the earth by standing on the earth. Cover the space above the earth up to the shell of the universe. The shell covering the universe. And he pierced that shell, because of which there was a hole created in the universal shell. And what is outside the universal shell? Karana Jala. Karana Jala. Karana Jala is the causal ocean in which all universes are broken. So that river, the water from the Karna ocean leaked into the universe, to the whole state of the Brahman. Actually, Karna Jala is spiritual water, but even that spiritual water is further sanctified or enriched spiritually by washing the lotus feet of Brahman Devi. So carrying the dust of lotus feet. Now Prabhupada is quoting Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya says, Bhagavad Gita kinchita dhita ganga jaladava kanika. He says, if one takes a little knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita, kinchita dhita, or if one drinks a little quantity of Ganges water, Ganga jaladava, lava means a very small quantity, kanika. Means to drink. Then he says, Sakrudati yena murari samarcha kriyate tasya yamena nacharcha. Immediately by either taking a little knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita or drinking a little water of the Ganges river, one can immediately contact Murari. Immediately you contact Krishna. And because of that, one is saved from the punishment of Yamaraj. However grievous a sinner a person may be. The example is given in the Bhagavatam of Bajamika. So much sin he had committed, but he just chanted the name of Narayana. Immediately, in that way, he came in contact with the Lord through the holy name, and he was saved from the punishment of Yamaraj. Shankaracharya is telling, if anybody comes in contact with Gangajal or Bhagavad Gita, immediately they are saved from the punishment of Yamaraj because they are able to contact So Prabhupada says in India there are 5 sacred rivers. Which are the 5 sacred rivers in India? Ganga, Yamuna, Godavari, Narmada, Kaveri. Actually, there is a verse that says there are 7 sacred rivers in Bharat. But 2 of them are not there at the present time. Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jalesmin Samini. Whenever we want to invoke auspiciousness or purify some paraphernalia meant for spiritual purposes, then we invoke these 7 rivers simply by chanting the names of the rivers. Simply by chanting the names. Now these 7 rivers, at the present time, the river Sindhu is flowing in Pakistan, and the river Saraswati has disappeared. So therefore, out of the 7 rivers, only 5 remain as of today. So Ganga, Yamuna, Godavari, Narmada and Kaveri. So these 5 rivers are being mentioned by Prabhupada here. In India there are 5 sacred rivers, but the Ganges is the most sacred. Ganga Jal, Ganga river, Ganga Nadi It flows in every planet of the universe. Swargaloka, Matyaloka, Pataloka, Brahmaloka, the planets of the seven sages, Saptarishi Mandala, there also the river Ganga is flowing. In fact, there is a chapter in the 5th canto describing the flow of the river Ganga in different places, how the river Ganga descends to this world. So, Ganga river flows everywhere, and that Ganges river is the basis of places of pilgrimage. In fact, most of the places of pilgrimage are on the bank of the river Ganga. Any place which is on the bank of the river Ganga is a sacred place, is a place of pilgrimage. Any place. In addition to that, the places where a pure devotee resides, or a place where pure devotees chant and glorify the Supreme Lord, the place where the Lord appeared in His various incarnations, all these places are also places of pilgrimage. So places of pilgrimage are sacred because of their connection with Krishna. Through His devotees, through the Ganga river, through the incarnation. Somehow, if there is connection of any place with the Supreme Lord, then that place becomes a place of pilgrimage. So by the grace of Krishna, there are millions of places of pilgrimage all over the world. Prabhupada says that there are many rivers in the world which are able to evoke one's sense of God consciousness simply by one's bathing in them. Even among the Christians and the Muslims, they have this understanding of holy water. And in Jerusalem, the river that flows, I don't know the name, I forgot the name. The water is considered sacred by three religious sects: the Muslims, the Jews, and the Christians. Actually, Jerusalem is a very, 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 very beautiful place. And constantly this quarrel goes on for the control and to whom it belongs, ownership, something like that. The fighting has been going on since several hundreds of years. But nonetheless, the fact remains that the water of that river that flows there is considered sacred by all faithful followers of those religions. So that is what Prabhupada is telling. There are many rivers in the world which are able to evoke one's sense of God consciousness simply by one's bathing in them. God consciousness is already dormant in everybody's heart. Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti Sadhya Karuna. It is eternally established in the heart of everybody. But it has to be awakened because that God consciousness in the heart has got covered by material coverings over the consciousness. The material covering over the consciousness is both subtle and gross. The subtle body covers the consciousness in a subtle way, and the gross body covers the How does the subtle body cover the consciousness? What are the three elements of the subtle body? Ego, intelligence, and the mind. What's ahankara? So how does ahankara cover the consciousness? False conception of the self. Conceptions, it's not one conception. A false conception, many false conceptions of the self is the way our consciousness is covered by the false ego. How does the intelligence cover the consciousness? The God consciousness is already there. Buddhayo avyavasayina. That verse, 41st verse. Open verse. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekena purnandana bahushaakha hi ananta cha buddhayo avyavasayina. What is the translation? Vedanta. Huh? 2.41 translation. The intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branch. This is the covering of the intelligence. What is it? That the intelligence becomes many branched. Intelligence will mislead our consciousness in so many other directions other than Krishna. We become irresolute in our determination for achieving the goal of life. We are unable to fix the goal of Krishna. We make so many other goals. And what does our intelligence do? It directs us to act in so many ways for achieving those other goals. That is what is called Bahushaakha. Actually, our goal should be Krishna. Even here, Prabhupada says, Vedaisha sarvai ahameva vedyam. From all the Vedas, one is simply supposed to aim for understanding or knowing Krishna. But people study the Vedas and they become misguided. So many other philosophers, so many other misunderstanding about what they actually do. So it is said here, this verse is a poetic description of the pure devotees who take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. They are being described in this verse. What is the description? It is a poetic description. The pure devotees are always compared to swan, Hamsa. They are not just called Hamsa, they are called Paramahamsa. They are the supreme swan. What is the special quality of the swan among so many birds? The swan has got a very special quality. What is that? It can separate out milk from a mixture of milk and water. So, the pure devotees in the material world, they can separate out the spiritual essence from the mixture of spirit and matter. You see, the material world is a combination of spirit and matter. But to separate out the spiritual essence and reject matter, that is possible only for the Paramahamsas. That's why they compare this way. So, such like birds, they fly because they have got wings. So the Paramahamsas, they are compared to the swan, pure devotees. Then, what are their wings actually to fly? The wings of the Vedas. They are able to travel or traverse by the Vedic wisdom. The Vedic wisdom directs them, helps them traverse the path leading to, just like a bird will go and fly to the nest. Even it goes out of the nest, it will come back to the nest. So, where is the nest to which they fly? The Paramahamsas. The nest is described as the lotus-like face of the Supreme Lord. Marganti yatte mukha padma nidare. Mukha padma. The lotus face of the Lord is very, very beautiful. Prabhupada says compare every part of the body of the Lord and the form of the Lord is compared to lotus. Because the lotus is the last word in beauty in this material world. Most beautiful. So all parts of the Lord's form are very, 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 very beautiful. Therefore they are compared to the lotus. So the beautiful lotus-like face of the Supreme Lord is the destination of the Paramahamsas. That is where they have made their nest. That is their resting place. So they fly by the wings of the Vedas. And while doing so, they surrender at every step to the lotus feet of the Lord by taking shelter of the river Ganga. That means they are keeping themselves pure even if accidentally there is some sin. In this material world there is every chance or possibility of committing some sin. But if one takes shelter of the river Ganga, then simply by bathing in the river Ganga one becomes purified from any sinful reality. So that is their Lord's mercy. So such saintly persons whose destination is the lotus face of the Supreme Lord, they follow the Vedic path and they take shelter of the river Ganga and every step along the way. That means while they are practicing Krishna consciousness or while they are purifying themselves, they always reside in holy places, in sacred places. Mathuravas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has pointed out 5 important items of sadhana bhakti, Vaidhi bhakti, among 64 items that Goswami is describing. So one of them is Mathuravas, living in a place of pilgrimage, or living in a temple of the Supreme Lord, or living in a holy place, in the association of pure devotees. A pure devotee makes a place holy. So if you are in association of pure devotees, you are always living in a holy place. Or you live by the bank of the river Ganga, take bath every day, simply by taking bath, you are purified. The cleanse, the ball, Or you study the Bhagavad Gita, you are completely cleansed of all sinful reactions. The Gita Mahatmya says that the Bhagavad Gita is more powerful than the river Ganga. Of course, river Ganga is very, very powerful, as powerful as the Lord. But still, in order to encourage people to study the Bhagavad Gita, the Gita Mahatmya says the Bhagavad Gita is more powerful than the river Ganga. That if one just once takes bath in the river of the Bhagavad Gita, immediately one is completely purified of all sinful reactions, and one's natural devotion to Krishna is awakened immediately. That's the power of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Arjuna, what did he say? At the end of Bhagavad Gita, Nashto mohas matirlabdha vatprasāvatmanāchita Sthitosmi gatasandeha karishye vachanam tava. Arjuna had some doubt, or some confusion, or some bewilderment in his mind before the battle was just about to begin. But by hearing the Bhagavad Gita, he became free from all doubt. He became completely fixed up in Krishna consciousness. So, the Bhagavad Gita is very, very, very powerful. It is not different from the Lord, being the words of the Lord Himself, spoken personally by the Lord. Actually, the Vedas are also personally spoken by Krishna. How is that? At the beginning of creation, the Vedas emanate by the breathing of the Supreme Lord. The breathing of the Supreme Lord, the Vedas emanate. And they have been received by the saintly persons headed by Brahma at the beginning of creation. So Vedas are also coming from the Lord. The Bhagavad Gita is also spoken by the Lord. The Bhagavatam is spoken by Shukadeva Goswami. Shukadeva Goswami speaking is as good as Krishna speaking, because in the Parampara system, whether one hears from Krishna, directly from Krishna, or one hears directly from Krishna through the transparent medium of the bona fide spiritual master in Parampara. Krishna spoke the Bhagavatam in 4 verses to Brahma. Brahma spoke the Bhagavatam to Narada. Narada spoke the Bhagavatam to Vyasa. Vyasa spoke the Bhagavatam to Shukadeva Goswami. Therefore, hearing from Shukadeva Goswami is same as directly hearing from Krishna. So, whether one hears the Bhagavatam from Shukadeva Goswami, or the Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, or the Vedas from Krishna, one becomes immediately purified. That is the purport of this verse. So, the demigods are glorified. The saintly persons who get shelter of the Supreme Lord directly, instead of diverting their attention to so many other subsidiary or secondary goals mentioned in the Vedas. In the Vedas, to satisfy the material desires of the living entities, so many other secondary goals are mentioned. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. These are 4 Purusharthas mentioned in the. That is to direct the materially conditioned soul, those material desires, to direct them. These 4 words are mentioned Purusharthas. But actually, the real Purushartha, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu points out, Panchama Purushartha, the supreme Purushartha, the real Purushartha is Prema Pramartho Maha. It is Krishna Prema, Krishna Bhakti. That is the real Purushartha, that is the real goal. So the saintly persons who are Paramahamsas, their goal is Krishna Bhakti, not this Dharma Artha Kama. And that is pointed out in the Bhagavad Gita and the Mahabharata. Manmana Bhagavan Bhakto Adhyaji Mahamanastu. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, you come to me, you take shelter of my lotus feet, you become my devotee, you come to my personal abode in the spiritual world. What is the smart Bhagavan? So Krishna is directly instructing us in this ultimate goal of Krishna Bhakti. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching that same thing. By chanting Hare Krishna, make that to go Krishna Bhakti.